The SAICABIZ Impact Podcast is proudly brought to you by SAICA, committed to growing impactful businesses in collaboration with our SAICA accredited practitioners. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast and visit our website for more valuable resources.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the SAICABIZ Impact Podcast. I am your host, Luncedo Mtwentwe. Great again just to have you and to listen to another episode that we have in store for you. And today I am joined by one of the captains of industry, Velly Bosega. Velly, welcome on board.
Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, man.
Happy to be here.
Great. Ladies and gentlemen, you have picked up the number of things that are currently happening in South Africa, the trade tensions, the visits of South African president to the USA. And of course, that has an impact in terms of the SMEs or the businesses in South Africa. All of those decisions that are made from a geopolitical point of view do have an impact in terms of how we are growing our businesses in South Africa, in Africa, and internationally. So, and Velly is one of those solid businessmen that has built his business from scratch, built it successfully, not even one, but more than two enterprises that he has run successfully. So, and for those who don't know, by the way, who Velly is, he is the CEO of Adclick Africa and SME South Africa. And he's incredibly successful entrepreneur, has built more than one business from scratch. And he's the founder of Adclick. He has the first-hand knowledge and insights on how to promote and build a brand. Also, as the founder and the CEO of one of the South Africa's largest SME resource platforms, SME South Africa. He has built an award-winning SME resource platform that connects SMEs to free business guides, resources, and number of information just around funding as well. He also just launched a new tech website that is called Tech Africa, that is aimed at entrepreneurs in the tech space and the venture capital space as well. So he's actually going to share his journey in terms of how he navigates his business journey and some of the challenges and the solutions that you've managed to bring on board. Velly, let's take it from the beginning. We've got so many babies that are running.
Yes.
From Adclick to Tech Africa to SME South Africa. But let's start way back. Your journey around entrepreneurship, that bug to say, listen, I am going through this journey. When did that bug kick in?
Man, it began when I was still in high school, and it was inspired by my neighbor. Okay. There was a neighbor that was selling perfumes, and he called me one time. He says, "Hey, man," he called me brother. "Hey, brother, come here, man. Don't you want to make money?" It's like, look, man, definitely want to make money. Obviously, I grew up in a village, and my father was in Ga-Madiba. It's a village in Mukopane, in Limpopo.
Oh, fantastic.
And, my father was the only one working at that time. So, and he was in Johannesburg for many, many, many years. So there's no dad around for you to ask for money to do, to buy stuff or all those things. And so when Colin invited me to, to sell perfumes, I was very excited. I started, working for him, selling some of his perfumes, and later obviously started to sell my own perfumes to the teachers at school. And, from there, I had an uncle as well that was selling eggs.
Okay.
By the taxi rank there by Mukopane, in our town. And I started to talk to him. I said, "Look, man, uncle, can I sell or help you sell on Saturdays?" He was like, "No problem, man, come and help me sell." So that's where it all began. And later my mom also started to, to cook some peanuts, and started to sell peanuts also in school, So we always selling something at one, during those days. And that's where I fell in love, with entrepreneurship and also obviously just selling stuff and making money out of the stuff that I was selling.
Fantastic. Then you came to Joburg.
Yes.
Started selling tomatoes as well. And that journey continued of selling.
Yes.
Take us through that. And how did you manage as well to build Adclick Africa in terms of what do you do there, by the way?
Sure. So I came to Joburg after obviously passing my matric and, with the hope of going, to a college or university to further my studies. And unfortunately, there was no money to do that. And I then decided to sell stuff on the street. So selling tomatoes, nail clippers, and other stuff that I sell during those days because I love selling. you know, and from there. While I was on the street selling tomatoes, I used to spend a lot of time, reading newspapers, reading books. I remember reading this book, man, by Dr. David Mulapo. And, that book was all about helping young people to fly like eagles. So the biggest message of that book was like, there's no limit. So you can do it. So I was really inspired, honestly speaking, by that book while I was still on the street. And I decided from there to look for opportunities. And from there, I landed on to an internship in marketing research for a company.
Are you starting by that time, while you're selling tomatoes, or you're full-time now selling?
I'm selling tomatoes. And while I'm selling tomatoes, I'm looking for opportunities.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm buying newspapers, I'm reading, I want to know what's happening. I think I sold the tomatoes and other stuff on the street for less than a year.
Okay.
And then I got an opportunity, applying for this internship for marketing research. And I joined this company. They were just looking for matriculants. And then I joined this company. And, luckily I also got to go to Boston, to do like a marketing research course through that company. And from that, just fell in love with marketing as a whole, fall in love with digital marketing, advertising, sales. And I stayed with that company I think the internship finished within 10 plus or so months. And then from there went into Daily Sun, went into other media companies and built quite a lot of strong relationship, with brands, with advertising agencies. And over there, I was like, now, man, I think, these people, they love me. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
and they love what I do. Why don't I do this for myself? I remember I used to tell some of my clients that, one day I'm going to start my own thing. Would you support me? They say, no, Velly, if it's you, as long as it's you, we definitely going to support you.
Yeah.
So that really inspired me, to start my own business, which is Adclick Africa. So that's where it begins. But, so from selling tomatoes to working for plus minus 5, some of the biggest media companies, in South Africa. Yeah. So I had to learn, how to run a business, from those guys, how they do it, so that when I start my own thing, I can also do it.
What does Adclick Africa do?
Adclick Africa is a digital marketing solutions agency. So what we do there, we help brands to advertise within the digital space.
Okay.
So that comes from strategy to creating content, to web development, app development, to social media and anything really around tech that will really help brands to market themselves and of course to attract clients in the digital space.
How was the market way back then? Because it's different to what it is now. Everyone is going heavy on digital.
Yeah.
The traditional way of advertising and communication is absolutely shifting.
Sure.
So the market way back then, how was the market compared to where we are today?
Man, it was tough. When you had to convince people why digital, that's where we started. So we had to provide a lot of workshops, these are the 10 reasons why you need to go, even just to build a website. People didn't understand, why must I have a website? Why must I go digital? All those things.
Yeah.
So it was tough. But there were clients that were willing to listen to us. And really that was very good for us because we started at a time where many clients were starting to understand digital, unlike now. I mean, like you said it right now, everyone is going digital, everyone's got a website, everyone, they're on social media and all that. But we had to do a lot of work in terms of educating, the clients. But, luckily some of the clients that we started with many years ago, they're still giving us business till today. So we have built that reputation in the industry. Yeah.
The skill sets.
Sure.
I mean, you started selling from high school.
Mm.
Came to Joburg.
Sure.
Continued to sell.
Yeah.
When internship, you continued to sell.
Sure.
What the skill set? Talk to me about the skill set or the ability to sell.
Sure.
Right. The number of entrepreneurs out there.
Yeah.
Right? They run their businesses. They're like, I'm good at what they do.
Sure.
What I do. However, the part about selling, the sales part, it becomes a challenge.
Sure.
My personality trait doesn't allow me to be out there like Velly, who's bold enough. Talk to me about the importance of that skill.
Sure, that skill is very, very important. Any business owner, you need to be able to sell or at least learn how to sell. When I came to Joburg, by the way, I had to learn certain skills, especially so I could sell, but I could not present. Because now if you're running an agency, you need to go and pitch.
Yeah.
When you pitch, you've got a team of, we just had a pitch just yesterday, And we had a team of like 8 people. These are executives, these are directors, these are CEOs. So, I needed to learn how to pitch. And there's many entrepreneurs, I think they're introverts, know. So I think you just need to be yourself, but at least learn the basics in terms of, communicating your ideas. This is what I do. This is Velly Bosega, from Adclick Africa. This is what I do. And this is how I can help you. Because I think people, they feel the pressure of maybe, talking like yourself.
You have to be out there.
You need to be out there, absolutely. But you don't really need to be, you don't need that. All you need to be is just, some basic communication skills and also the ability to be able to communicate what you are doing. But coupling that with digital skills. So if sometimes you're not somebody who can speak to people, you can start writing. You can start sharing your thoughts, on LinkedIn. You can build your profile. There's many people that, they can't sell, or they are not loud enough, but they're very good with writing.
Yeah.
Very good with communicating their thoughts, just by putting the pen down. So there are those tools online that you can use to sell a lot of some of your products, for your business.
Before we go to the next baby that we have, which is SME South Africa, you've got Adclick.
Yeah.
It's been over a decade. You've been running that firm. For you now to scale up, to be where it can run itself without you being heavily invested or being there on day-to-day basis.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
What are some of the skill sets that you had to apply, or the controls, or the systems, or the leadership traits that you had to deploy to ensure that Adclick now is a business that can run without Velly being there on day-to-day basis?
Sure. Man, you need to hire people that are smarter than you. So that is very important.
Okay.
So, obviously as an entrepreneur or as the founder of the business, you can have that ego, that this is my baby. I've started this thing. I know how it works and so forth. But what really helped me was to hire people that are smarter than me. I needed to have people that are very good with finance, people that are very good with operations, because I'm just I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a sales guy, I'm an idea guy. I love ideas, I love innovation. But, I don't really love to run the business on a daily basis. People issues, problems like that. So I needed to have someone that can really handle HR issues. So that really helped. But the biggest one I would say is systems and processes. That really helped us quite a lot. When you start a business, like just to give an example, for the first 2-3 years, we did so well because we launched this new tech called programmatic advertising, which is more like a stock exchange. So what you are able to buy advertising space across thousands of publishers in real time. So you can bid for an audience. Let's say you're looking for Velly who stays maybe in Joburg, of this certain age, this certain demographic. So we're able to introduce that tech, and it did so well that we were growing very, very fast. But we didn't have systems. So money is coming in. There's no system. So you are just hiring. Let's scale. Go to Cape Town, open an office. And then the next thing, you've got people issues. Things are breaking. So we had to introduce systems in the business. And of course, introduce also some of the tools to help us to manage, to scale the business, like tools like your, CRMs, customer relationship management tools, productivity tools, where our employees can track some of the projects we can see, and also communication tools whereby we can communicate with clients. We can also communicate with each other. So those are some of the tools that we had to go and acquire, bring them in-house to help us to scale the business.
I want to go back to your first point.
Sure.
Where you said hire smart people.
Yeah.
And I've interviewed most entrepreneurs.
Yes.
And that advice is very much echoed across board.
Sure.
How do you do that? How do you identify this person? Because remember, it's a process, it's an interview.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Other people can sell themselves to the team. But what are some of the tools or the advice that you can share with any other entrepreneur right now to say, look, I have been trying to employ the right people. However, after 3, 4, 5 months down the line, I realized these are the wrong people.
Yeah.
These are, from the interview point of view, they came across very well.
Yeah.
Now it's time to deliver. It's time to execute. It's time now to see the work ethic. how to identify, from the beginning and to ensure that you don't pick up the wrong people?
Yeah.
What are some of the tips that you can share?
Man, that's a very good question. And I must say, I've made a lot of mistakes.
I like that.
But coming to hiring, I've made a lot of mistakes because I will, like what you're just saying now, someone come, for the interview and a very, very impressive CV. And they can speak well. They can speak a very good English. They've gone to school with an MBA, and you're sitting there. We're like, no, that must be the person. So I've done that. But over the years, you really do get better. With getting the right people, and I think it comes down to what you're really looking for as a business. One man said something very, very profound. He said, after you hired someone, after a month, come 20 or 30 days, ask yourself, am I ready to work with this person for the coming few months? After 30 days, you will definitely know whether this person is the right person or not. Of course, we've got 3 months probation and all those things. Unfortunately, sometimes what people tell you during interviews is not what they will do. And I think we see that all the time. And it comes down to really, I think for us, it was to put together some robust, measurement and systems in place to manage the first 30 days and going to 60 days and also 90 days. We realize that is very, very, very important. And, but also we really take time to hire staff. So we don't just place an ad and then, we hire immediately. Like I can give you an example. I'm currently hiring an EA now. So I've been without an EA for almost like a month or two. And I'm really taking my time. I mean, I'm telling you about we went through like almost 1,000 CVs. Break those down to 50 to 20. A lot of the interviews, not first interview, but second interview, 30. And sometimes we also introduce some assessment. I don't know if we can do this.
Do those have the assessments though? Because I feel like they're more theoretical, or they help from the personality test point of view, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think from a personality, yes, they do help. But I don't know if this can work in South Africa. But a guy called Dave Ramsey, he says something very profound. When he had his CFO, he took that guy with his wife to dinner, and he also brought his wife, and they had a dinner, and he was really looking at this guy, how he communicates with the wife. And the wife asked for something, and the guy was very impatient at that time, because obviously he wants to get this job. He wants to impress. And Dave Ramsey said, he said, you know what? After that, I was like, this is not the guy for me. He said, we went to 5 interviews. This guy was so excellent. We go for dinner. And he's so impatient. The way he spoke to his wife, he was like, this is not the guy for me. So I think there's many ways, So, yeah, I want to try the one where I take someone for breakfast. And I've done that before, where I had someone, we went even go for breakfast, and we get to talk outside of work. Because I think the biggest thing for me is, this person, I really need to be able to sit down like this with this person. I need to be able to work with them. It's not just about them sitting behind their laptop, and, it has to be someone that I can really work with. And I think once you can identify those things that are important to you, so for me, that's important. The person must be able to sit down with me, and we need to be able to work together, talk about the business, talk about other stuff. So that becomes very, very critical. And of course, culture fit, is very critical, and culture is important.
How important is that, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, this thing they say, culture, it's going to eat your strategy for breakfast. That was Peter Drucker. Yeah. He says culture will eat your strategy for breakfast. You can have the best strategy, the best product, but if your culture is not right, you're not going to scale your business. So identifying that culture fit, like what you will do with your product, is can this employee fit in within our culture? That also becomes very critical. And sometimes we bring some of our managers or employees, if just by coming in, I'll ask the reception, look at this person, what do you like about them? Some of the guys that will pass through the boardroom, what do you like? Yeah, so I'll ask everyone, and if people say, we don't think this person, then already I know, okay, from a culture fit, there's an issue. So there's a lot of things that we do.
That's very important, because this doesn't only apply to entrepreneurs, but even to the professionals themselves when they go for interviews. It's not only about when you sit at the table and you discuss. The receptionist is watching you, how you walk, how you talk, how you come across, because they already know the culture and they know the culture. But talking about the culture, then you moved.
Yeah.
And you started another baby, SME South Africa.
Yes.
Tell us, what do you guys do there?
So SME South Africa, it's a resource platform for small business owners. So we assist small businesses, with content, with templates like business plans. We also help them to connect them to mentors. So people that, will offer advice. And so we build an app there that assists with that. And of course, funding, which is a big one. We partner with funders and we connect those SMEs to funding. And how SME came about, it used to be a print publication. About 11 years ago.
Yeah.
And I used to work with this guy who was the owner of SME South Africa.
Okay.
We used to give him business, we'd put some ads on behalf of our client and so forth. But, during those days, print was declining, from a distribution perspective, because obviously it is expensive.
Yeah.
And also advertising also was declining in print. So then I bought this platform and decided to focus mainly within the digital space. Yeah.
Wow. So what have you learned then about that? And especially around that industry? The way that the times they do change.
Sure.
Businesses go through different cycles. So from print to be heavily now digital, what are some of the important lessons that you've learned around that to turn that around?
Sure. I think the biggest thing for me was, as a business, you need to be able to evolve, with the times. And you need to innovate. Because, for an example, the guy that was owning this business, he was more traditional.
Yeah.
He was more about print. He's an old guy. For him, it's like print. This is what I know. And I cannot run any other business, So it was important, obviously, to evolve. And I think businesses need to be agile enough, to go and to learn new technologies in order to either digitize their business, or also, to build, solutions that are going to obviously attract the right market. So for us, it was critical. We saw that the market was going digital, and we needed to focus within the digital space. But the beauty about that is that from print to digital, now we can house the resources online, which means now people can always have access, to those resources. Whilst before SME was a print publication, which means you have to keep a lot of newspapers for you to be able to go and get the resources. So, sometimes change, it really helps with that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, so which sectors do you see, talk about innovation, which sectors do you see that are fast growing, or they have to innovate as much as soon as possible? Because if then you don't innovate,
sure,
you are completely out from where you're at currently.
Yeah. I think every sector needs to innovate. We can't say fintech is the only one that must innovate, or agri-tech, or and all those. I feel like every sector, even services business. I'm in the service business, but within the service business, we needed to build a technology to support our services. For instance, a DSP, which is a demand-side platform, which is an ad tech or advertising technology that I was talking about, we had to build that, because before we were buying advertising space, in the US, we had to pay in dollars. It was a lot, exchange rates and all those things. But immediately when we built that technology in South Africa, we were able to connect publishers in South Africa, publishers in Nigeria, Kenya, Ghana, and a lot of the clients then came to us because they were looking to, to branch out into other African markets. And this is a local technology, but we are a service business on the other side. So service business, they can definitely also, I feel like they should be innovating. Today, you get a lot of these global firms that are also, building tech, or just innovating, with technology, in order to better their services.
Are we as Africans really creating better technologies compared to our global counterparts? Or else we're using technology that is coming out of Africa?
Man, I think we can do better. I think we're using a lot of tech that is coming from the US, especially in my field, in the advertising space. I can tell you now, 99% of the technology that we use is coming from the US.
Wow.
So we can definitely do better.
Why are we not innovating then enough here in South Africa and Africa in general?
Man, we need money. We need funding. We need funding. Absolutely. We need funding. If you look at a lot of the tech, companies in the US, they are funded by some of the global VC firms. And I feel like, in the US and other markets, they're not afraid of taking risks. Whilst in South Africa, if you are Velly and, you want to build this technology and you need, let's say, 20 million with no clients, with no traction, no one is going to give you money. You know what I'm saying? Because they want traction. How many clients do you have? But this is only an idea. In the US, they'll fund that idea. Look at this guy from WeWork. Look how, he failed with that You know, that
and so many people.
You understand? And you see how much now you raised?
Another one now.
You understand how many millions did you raise?
Yeah.
You know, so you're never going to get that in Africa. Unfortunately not. Yeah.
What will it take? I mean, you talk about that you've got Tech Africa now.
Sure.
Talking about that, of which talks to the earlier point you spoke about, trying to attract venture capital.
Sure.
To South Africa or to Africa.
Mm-hmm.
But what will it take that SMEs in South Africa don't have to go through the struggle that they're currently going through to raise funding? Talk to us about Tech Africa, the platform and the solutions that you're trying to bring over there.
Sure. So with techafrica.com, we're trying to bring the entire startup ecosystem together, and build a community. So, like venture capital firms, private equity guys, anyone that is really funding entrepreneurs, angel investors, and of course, government as well. All the stakeholders, we're trying to bring them together. But of course, we also want to inspire tech entrepreneurs, by sharing stories and content of local, South African tech startup stories, like the likes of Yoko that have done so well, and of course, African stories. And we're hoping that by doing that, we can then also obviously attract guys from the US, from the UK, who can now start to look at these African startups and obviously fund them. And we're getting some traction with that because we're listing the top South African tech startups there, and people are starting to notice them, and that's what we want to do. And later, obviously, build that community so that they can then get funded.
How much hard is the startup ecosystem in South Africa? Are we still at an early stage, or we're already up there? What's your take?
Man, I don't think we're on the early stage, but we are not yet there as yet. I think there's a lot that still need to be done. I think. I was in Botswana like just a few weeks back, and we had guys from Nigeria, from Kenya, Ghana, and of course from the US. And while I was there, I realized that a lot of these markets, they are very far compared to South Africa because of the culture.
African markets or international? Like
international,
okay.
International, yeah. But I mean, like someone like Nigeria, I feel like they're doing much better than us. Kenya as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel like the startup culture, like I think I mentioned this point previously, that people in South Africa and Africa as a whole, they want to fund you if you've got some traction. They want to see the numbers. You get what I'm saying? So
collateral as well.
100%. Yeah. So we had some startups there that were, we had a pitch day, and I was one of the mentors, and it was all tech, obviously, and there were VC companies there, and they were happy to fund those startups with from an idea stage. You know what I'm saying? Guys, they were like, no problem. They chose three companies there, and they did so well. And, they said, no problem, you will get into the program. And
so that's illicit investments,
Absolutely. And I think we need a lot of that in South Africa, from both, obviously, the corporate companies and also from the VC space.
Jeez. All right. What does it take for an entrepreneur, Luncedo, who is based in Mlas right now?
Sure.
As you are saying, he is building a solution.
Yeah.
However, that requires X amount of funding.
Sure.
He doesn't have the 2.5 million or the 5 million rands.
Sure.
To deploy into research and development. But how do you become attractive?
Sure.
To venture capital, so private equity, or just to any other investor?
Sure.
As an SME, what have you picked up that you need to do?
That's a very good question. I think the first thing first, from your idea stage, you need to make sure that there must be and there has to be a market, whatever you're trying to build.
Yeah.
And within that market, because these are the things that VC guys are looking for, you need to have what you call an addressable market, meaning that within that market, or this number of people that are interested or are looking for your product, they can really afford it. So, so let's, for example, if let's say your market is 100 people, within that 100 people, what is your addressable market? Like how many people are willing to pay? If it's 20 people or 30 people or half of those, then at least, you can start to build something. And then from there, you need what you call, you need to have what you call a product market fit, meaning that, because sometimes as entrepreneurs, and this, we fell in love so much with our ideas that we just forget about the market. this is my idea. This is brilliant. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I had a meeting with one of my friends and they said, nah, man, come, let's meet. I've got this beautiful idea. This thing, man, I'm telling you, this thing is going to work. And then we met and I was like, my friend,
the truth.
Here's the truth, you know.
Yeah.
I don't want to disappoint you, but I think it's a brilliant idea, but I don't think there's a market for it. And by the way, I did that as well. Made a lot of mistakes and I lost a lot of money, whereby, you know, with this beautiful idea, build tech, invest, and no one wants to buy. So there has to be the market and there has to be a product market fit. And of course, there must be some traction, meaning that you need to have someone that is obviously buying whatever you are selling. Once you have that and you can provide proof, then money will come to you.
So you don't need funding first. You need to start.
You need to start.
Right? Show a bit of traction.
100%.
Show that feasibility that I need funding just to scale up.
Absolutely. You need to do that. But there are like, you know, companies like accelerators and other, you know, startup programs that help from a seed stage where you are still in an idea stage. I mean, like if you look in the US, they've got things like your Y Combinator. Those guys, they will just fund you with your idea and help you to go through this process that I just spoke about. Sometimes you need money to get there. So there are programs like that nowadays that can help you to do that.
So where do you get these, you know, angel investors like you, venture capital firms?
Sure.
Because most of our entrepreneurs, all they know is that I need funding, I'll go to the bank.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
And then the different platforms now where you can, as you have said, all of these accelerator programs.
Yeah.
Where do you find them? Is that what you're trying to address as well with Tech Africa and SME funding?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's what we're trying to address, you know, to almost curate a list of those guys. I mean, at any given time, we are curating a list of accelerators or VC firms based on their verticals or industries. So definitely we're doing that. But of course, just going online and searching, you can definitely get that information. There's also some websites, you know, in South Africa that talk more about the space, like venture capital and also accelerators. So they are there. But what I've seen also, incubation hubs, you also find them there also.
Okay.
And so it's important just to go and search for that. But of course, within the SME South Africa, you know, we've got a tab whereby, you know, if you're looking for funding, you can just fill your details and then we pass your details to the relevant company or somebody that can fund you.
That's fun. So you become the middleman now between an SME and
correct.
That would be out there.
100%. And work with hundreds of funders.
So talking about that now, that talks to, of course, you're deploying artificial intelligence around that. Your thoughts around the current state, around AI, and how businesses can take advantage of artificial intelligence and apply that into their businesses?
Sure. I mean, I think AI is very, very important. But I also know that it can be threatening to other people, you know, especially those that are not tech savvy. But just to give you an idea how we use AI, you know, in our business, especially with Adclick, and I'll come into SME South Africa. So we've got an AI tool that we use because one of our clients is in the insurance space and we need to kind of deliver hundreds of thousands of leads, potential customers to their website. Okay. So in order to do that, we had to then get this AI tool that is able to verify things like the email address, because anyone can fill up the information and they put any email address. And like now I just told you that we're connecting SMEs with funders. So people need to put in their information, name, surname, email address and phone number. So if you kind of verify if those, you know, they are true, then obviously that means you gave someone a false lead. So, you know, that AI tool is able to help us to verify that. And I feel like that's brilliant. And we've been using that for the past 5 years. And then, of course, from a content creation perspective, you know, AI really, really helps, especially now, you know, you ask the question of how can one sell their services, you know, if they're not a salesperson, they're just a founder with an idea. AI can come in handy, you know, but you need to almost learn the skill of prompting. I feel like that is the most important thing. You need to learn how to prompt the AI, meaning that you need to help AI to give you what you want.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So in our case, for instance, you know, we're able to use AI to do what we call A/B testing. So let's say we've got a topic that we want to talk about within, the SME space, we're able to give AI maybe 2 topics and ask it which one will be more popular, or which one is popular, or which one maybe people are searching for online. You get what I'm saying? And you can also use it even with your product innovation or even service innovation, whereby you just go there and ask if, you need maybe to enhance or maybe to innovate within your services as well. So there's quite a lot of ways. And of course, we use AI, with the website and creative development as well. So any SME, I feel like they definitely need to adopt AI. Of course, skill gap still an issue, in our country. But start from learning how to prompt. That's where it starts. If you can learn how to type an email, you can definitely learn how to use an AI.
So it's a skill. It's not something that you just wake up and then, you need to learn how to prompt, play around all of these different platforms that are out there. Before I let you go, Velly.
Sure.
You are involved heavily in terms of the funding space in South Africa and the SME development. Which sectors or industries that are picking up now that you say that particular industry, in terms of funding, it is receiving so much attention from the investors, your venture capital firms? Which industry would you say these are my top 3, industries I would invest in?
Fintech, obviously.
Everywhere is fintech. Okay.
No, it's exciting. Did you see the story of Kula?
The Kula app. Yes.
Yes. I mean,
raised.
Come on, man. That's amazing. I mean, how about Yoko?
Yeah.
That's almost $1 billion. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So definitely fintech.
Okay.
And then agri-tech. Agri-tech, because people need to eat. And I think there's a lot of innovation in the space, within the agricultural space. So definitely we'll go for that.
Okay.
And of course, I will not neglect advertising. So advertising technology.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's something that we have done over the years. Definitely will innovate within that space. And I feel like it's one space that is ignored in Africa. Advertising, like all the tech that we have today, they're coming from the US or the UK. Yeah.
All right. So if you are doing computer science or you're programming or anything like that, there's an opportunity right there. Most of the technology is coming out of the country. Your legacy, my brother, what legacy would you like to leave? What are you working? I know you're not yet there.
Yeah.
But what are you trying to achieve with your legacy?
Man, I think the most important thing for me, I would like to be remembered as somebody who has helped a lot of people to get what they want. I heard this guy one day say that if you can help enough people get what they want, you will eventually get what you want.
Wow.
And I think that is very, very important. So I would like to help as many people, especially people like me, who never thought that they can own businesses, to own their own business. And that's why we've got those free resources. So if I can get as many of our South African entrepreneurs or people becoming entrepreneurs and really succeeding, I think I would say one day that I think I've done well.
How do we get hold of you?
I'm available on LinkedIn. I spend most of my time on LinkedIn. So on LinkedIn is Velly Bosega.
Okay.
And also on Twitter, Velly Bosega. And those are the 2 platforms that I spend most of my time.
All right.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Velly, it's been good.
Thank you so much,
my
man.
brother.
Thank you
for having us.
Thanks.
There you have it. Velly Bosega, the CE of Adclick Africa. His story has been amazing. Number of nuggets that have been shared, but more than anything else, are more relying heavily in terms of what does it take for you to be attractive to any other investor, but more than anything else, show that your product has visibility, it has traction. Start with where you are, then the funding will follow once you have actually proven that. He's really trying to bring some of the platforms that we can find out who are these venture capital firms that everyone is talking about, but you never get to hear or see them in some of the accelerator programs. And I think it is our time as Africans to really take up the space that everyone has been trying to come and take and play. So we are actually the rightful owners of that particular market, that let's dominate Africa, let's concentrate and accelerate the growth within an African continent. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to share this this podcast with your friends, your colleagues, or any other entrepreneurs that might want to learn more about just raising capital. We're available on YouTube. We're available on X. We're available on the SAICA website. We're available on Spotify. Don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next one.